Hi guys. Should be live now. How's it going? Alright, so let me see if this all works. Camera setup, microphone. Maybe you can give me a little thumbs up in the chat to see if everything's working. That'd be nice. So, alright. Okay guys, just a second until yeah. Okay. Alright, just got the word. Everything seems to work fine. So, hi, welcome to another live stream. Maybe for whoever's new, my name is Robert. I'm the founder and CEO of Mobile2b, and I'd like to use this stream to just do some no coding in real time, you know, really authentic. Because no code is really this awesome new technology, right, that allows us all to become developers and just to dream up any app idea that we might have and then actually build it without any coding knowledge, which is quite awesome if you think about it. So I wanted to do this today in this stream, and I actually thought about what could be a nice kind of app idea that would be interesting to build. And you know, these days AI, artificial intelligence, is all the rage, so I think that would be a nice thing to see how can we build a little AI app. And as you know, I'd like to keep it in the theme of industrial use cases, and so I have some ideas, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna jump right into it. As always, please use the chat if you have any questions or any suggestions. If you want to see anything or just want to chime in to the conversation, please go ahead. I'd really appreciate that. And yep, let's get started. So I've actually prepared a little demo environment already, so we can have a fresh and clean start. And I mean, maybe to set the scene right, when I talk about AI app, I mean, we're not gonna develop our own LLM or our own AI from scratch, but instead, obviously, we're gonna use all these awesome AI providers that are out there. And I thought for the day we'd just go with the most popular one, or I guess the most well-known one, which is OpenAI. And they have some really awesome tools that we can actually use very easily in a no-code platform like the Mobile2b platform, to make use of AI technology inside your own business workflows, right? So there's a couple of ideas that I had about what we can build today. So first of all, what AI, or especially these large language models, are really good at is understanding texts, right? So I'm thinking some form of unstructured text coming into a workflow and then doing some analysis on that text. So for example, we could do a kind of a categorization, right? So is this, let's say it's some sort of a customer request that's coming in, right? We could try to use AI to determine, is this a customer request that's more towards the sales department, or is this a technical question, or is this just a general complaint or billing related question? So that's what we could do. We could also do what is known as a sentiment analysis. So we can kind of try to understand, is this a feedback that is positive in nature or negative in nature, and we can kind of design our workflow depending on that. So AI would kind of dictate the way the workflow would go depending on the sentiment. But then also I have one other idea which could be quite interesting, especially in an industrial use case, which is around vision API. So I want to play around with photos. I'm going to take photos with my smartphone in some sort of a industrial workflow, and then try to see what we can come up with AI to analyze the photo and to maybe help us understand and the contents of the photo, maybe give the worker, the end user, a little bit of direction on what to do next based on the content of the photo, etc. So yeah, let's see what we can build. As always, everything I'm going to build here today is going to be available as a free template for anyone to use. So we'll prepare it and then you can download it as a template and play around with it yourself, or build on top of it and make it your own. So yeah, let's jump into it. Again, if you have any questions or if you have just something to say, please use the chat. I have it open here in my tools, and hopefully I can react. Okay, so I think we should start with a very simple, let's do like a customer request, customer feedback kind of use case, right? Because I think that's going to be fairly easy. So I'm going to start by creating a UI. And all right, I'm going to call this customer feedback form, something like this, right? And let me zoom out a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more. Yeah. And yeah, I think in this case we're just gonna have one big text box, and we're just gonna say, we appreciate your feedback. And then in the button I'm just gonna send feedback, right? So fairly easy. This one is, maybe we can do some sort of a send. Yeah, something like this. All right. So I think that's like a very easy and simple UI, and that's all we need to start with. So we're gonna publish this, and now I want to embed this in a flow. So I'm just gonna use the quick link button here to create a flow. We don't need these options, just create the flow. And well, here we are. I mean, if you're familiar with the platform, or if you've seen any of the our previous streams, this should be all familiar to you. So essentially, this is kind of a visual representation of the workflow that you're gonna have. So we're gonna start the process, or the workflow is gonna start. Then we're gonna have someone fill in this customer feedback form that we just created, and then, well, until now, that's it, and the process is finished, right? Obviously, that's not enough. Now we want to integrate the AI, but just to see how that works. And actually, what I want to do right from the start, I want to make this a public flow, and I can do this by simply turning on this switch. And now, as you can see, this extra button came up, which is a public start link. And what that allows me to do is I can actually use that public link and, let's say, make a QR code out of it. And I've pulled up a little tool, so I can just put in this QR code, for example, and it'll create a QR code for me. And okay, I can download it. But you can see later, this QR code now has a public URL, which is what is down here. Hold on, what do I need to do? Okay, all right, okay. And this will lead us to this public web page, right? And that's just the UI that we put in, and we can fill that out and send the feedback. And I mean, that already works, but it doesn't do much yet. So if we go back to our app, we can actually see that already worked. If I go to my runs, I can see this is the completed customer feedback form. So if I go into my flow view, I can see how this flow actually went. And that was just now, and I can see that feedback. So that's all good, but let's integrate some AI and some brains. So For that, I'm gonna go to OpenAI, and you need, if you want to, do this in your own workflows, you need to go and sign up for a OpenAI account. I think it's free if you want to just play around with it in the beginning. Eventually, you're probably gonna have to have a premium account, but that's okay. And now you have two options, which is ChatGPT and API. And for our purposes, you want to select the API option. And then what you want to do is you want to go down here on the left-hand side to API keys. And I can just click Create New Secret Key. And I'm going to give it a name. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put it to all permissions. If you want, you can really fine-tune the permissions that this API key has in your OpenAI account, but for now I think that's fine. So I'm going to create that secret key, and I'm going to copy that. By the way, so you really need to copy this key now, because later you won't be able to see it again. So that's that. And by the way, I'm going to delete this key after the stream, so you really need to create your own one. But anyway, now what I need to do is to set this up in the Mobile2b platform. I actually have to go down to System Integration, and there is a OpenAI integration option already available right here. So I can just click it, and I'm going to say this is my OpenAI demo key, right? I'm going to put that in here and click Add Integration. And that's it. I've already now added the integration. All I had to do is put in this API key that I created on the OpenAI website, right? Now what I can do is I can go to flows, open my flow again, and now let me go down here, and there is actually an OpenAI node, which I can just drag and drop into my flow now. And what is this step going to be? Analyze feedback with OpenAI, right? And I'm going to need to select my integration, which is the demo key integration that I just had. The model is 3.5 Turbo Instruct. That's technical detail, but that's fine for now. We can leave it like that. You can play around with different AI models, see which one gives you the best results, but that's fine, I guess. And now I need to put in a prompt, which is kind of the instruction that we need to give to OpenAI. And here's the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to put in some text, like a proper prompt, and also we're going to use whatever the customer put into the feedback form as a variable and to pass that to OpenAI. So, and again, I'm just playing around. Maybe we'll need to revise the prompt to get some better results, but here's what I'm thinking. Here is a feedback text from a customer. Please analyze its sentiment. If this is a positive feedback, answer positive. If it is a negative feedback, answer negative. And if it's a neutral feedback, answer neutral. I think that should be fine. And now, I mean, this is a little trick I learned. I don't know if this is actually necessary, but if you do want to have variable user input, I think it helps OpenAI understand if you put that between these hashtags. I'm not sure if that's actually true, but I think I read this somewhere. So I'm just going to use it. And now what I do is I just pick the variable from this form I'm going to stick this right in here, right? So now this is what we'll actually send to OpenAI. So here's a little prompt, and we're using this variable. And now I'm gonna get a result back from OpenAI. And you know what? Let me first save this, because one more thing I wanted to do is I actually want to store all the feedback in some sort of a database so we can visualize it, right? So for this, I'm gonna go open a business model, or create a business model actually, and let's call this customer feedback. And so this is going to be the feedback message, right? And I want to have a status, sentiment, and we're going to just say positive. Let me make this a little bit larger. We don't need the yellow one. Negative and neutral. Right. Okay, I think that's all we need for now. And I'm actually going to create a view for this. So feedback, do we have some sort of a nice, yeah, let's do this. So this is our customer feedback. And you know what? Just to make this a nice little dashboard, I actually want to add a little bit of a chart. So I'm just going to add like a status widget, and yeah, maybe do it like this. Let me test something. I'm gonna put in a feedback like this. Customer feedback. Okay, yeah, that looks kind of nice. Maybe this one could be a little bit smaller. I'm just setting up the view right now so we can actually work with that. Okay, I think this is nice, right? So this is now the view where all my feedback is going to come in. I'm going to delete this now because this is actually not something that I did. Okay, so that's a clean database now. But let's go back to the flow, because what we still have to do is we actually have to store that feedback in the database and use whatever OpenAI came up with in terms of sentiment analysis, and also put that into the database, right? So object create is what we want right here. Store feedback in database. All right, so we're going to connect that. That's going to be the last step. So the model is customer feedback, and we have two properties. We have the text property, which we're just going to take straight from the customer feedback form, right? So the feedback is going to be this one, and then the sentiment. We just take the analysis feedback with OpenAI results and put this into the sentiment. And that should be it. That should be it. Let's give this a try. And oh, by the way, I think what we can do, I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm gonna publish the public link to this form to the chat. So if you want to play around, you can actually. Hold on. All right. I don't know if that works. Yeah. So if you want, you can actually click the link and you should see this exact form. And well, let's see how that works. So I'm going to try what I tried earlier. Everything is great, right? Let's send the feedback. All right, feedback is sent. Now let's go back to the app and do a little refresh, and here we go. First try already worked. That's nice. So that's the feedback I just put in, and it did come up with a positive sentiment analysis. And we can actually go in and check this out in more detail if we open the run. See, and now if we actually go in here, we can actually see what we prompted OpenAI in detail and how OpenAI responded to it, right? So that does seem to work. Well, and someone else just put in a message. I'm not convinced yet. All right, I'll work on that, on making it more convincing, I guess, in terms of a demo. But I mean, is this a neutral sentiment? I guess you could say so. I'm not sure. Let me put in something more extreme. Nothing works. I am really frustrated. All right. And yeah, so that kind of does work. It does get the sentiment right, I think, in a way. And I mean, now obviously what you can do, and this is I think where it starts to get really interesting. We can now go into the flow and say, okay, now we did the sentiment analysis, we did the we're storing it in the database, that's all good, but now we want to do some automation based on that analysis, right? So what we could do is, let's say, okay, maybe we have a special task force or customer care who really needs to know about like negative feedback in particular, right? So we could just add a switch here, right? Switch sentiments, switch on sentiments. And what we could do is we could say, let's take the sentiment variable again, which is this one, right? And we can say if this is negative, then we're gonna have one outcome, and the default outcome is just gonna be end, right? And then, but if it's a negative outcome, we can just send email to customer care, for example, right? And new negative feedback. And you know what? I'm just going to use our company email here, so that's fine. And then, I mean, yeah, just to speed this up, I'm just going to copy the actual feedback in here, right? And now I can say, well, if this was actually identified to be a negative feedback, I can drag this in here. Hold on, all right, let me go in here. Not quite sure why I can't connect this right now. Give me a second, please. So that's this. I have some issue connecting the switch right now. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here. You know what? I'm just gonna use a logic element instead. Should be the same. I don't know what maybe I'm doing something wrong with the switch, but yeah. Is feedback negative? That should work just the same way, right? So you can say we can do the same thing. Is feedback negative? So I'm gonna take my variable analyze OpenAI. Put this in here, condition equals negative. So if no, sorry, it's the other way around, right? So if it's not negative, I'm just going to finish the flow. If it is negative, yeah, kind of have the same problem here with the switch. All right, I'm just gonna do it like this for now. All right, so there's the new feedback. I didn't put that in, so it does work with the public form, which is great. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the switch and the logic node. Maybe I have something messed up, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll fix it before we send out this template to you guys. But I think you get the idea. For now, I'm just gonna always send the email, and if I put something in here like I was expecting better service, to be honest, right? Sending this out. Let's see what OpenAI came up with in terms of sentiment, negative sentiment. Well, if we now had the switch, it would go, take that route. Right now, it's always sending the emails, and yeah, if I now check out my emails, I guess we should be able to see that email. Let me see if I can pull that up in some other window for you guys, and yeah, and have you see how that works. But yeah, I don't know how I can. You can't see it on my screen. I just received the email. You're gonna have to try this for yourself, but I think this is already quite something, right, for a customer feedback. And you can do, obviously, now you can do a lot more than that too. You can send emails, you can send some other alerts, you can trigger some other workflows. So let's say you have another flow that's kind of like, okay, special attention to negative feedback, and I'm going to trigger all these other people, and they're going to do all this other stuff. That's what you can now automate, right? So you'll have that sentiment analysis, and then with flow automation, you can act on that. And I think, yeah, I think that's pretty great, actually. One thing I wanted to do too is maybe this categorization, because that's also quite interesting in terms of job routing, right? So let's assume you have all your you have incoming requests from suppliers, from customers, you name it. Sometimes they're unstructured in the way that it's not very clear where they should go, and a lot of companies, just a lot of resources go to just doing like a first categorization and routing of these informations to make sure they're processed in the organization at the right place. And I think AI can help a lot in automating that too. And I think I'm just going to use the same customer feedback form now. So so this is an analyze. So I'm gonna call this AI sentiment analysis, and I'm actually going to duplicate this node, and now I'm gonna do a AI department analysis or something like this. I don't know, right? Here's customer feedback from the customer. Please analyze which departments in our organization this relates to. Answer with one of, and then I guess sales and marketing, service, what else we got? Finance, let's call this technical service, sales and marketing, finance. What else we got? Other, I guess. I don't know. I mean, we can always fine tune this, but I think that's okay for now. And okay, so let's do this, and I'm just gonna do the department analysis right after the the sentiment analysis. So just gonna use this in here. I'm not gonna store this yet, but let's publish this. And well, actually, I should store the department too. So I'm going to use a selection element, department. Which ones do we had? Sales and marketing, I think. We had technical service. We had finance, I think, and other. So that's that. And let me actually go back to my views now, and I can actually try to, let me see if I can get this in here as well. So like this, and now I want to have the department, and actually I'm going to use this for my sentiment, and I'm going to use the tree map maybe. I don't know which one looks the best. Well, these all don't have departments yet, but so I'm gonna put it like this. Let me see how that turns out. Yeah, I think that's great. And with these widgets, by the way, you can just click on any of them and it'll just filter you down, right? So it'll provide you with this filter. So if you just want to see the negative ones, boom. All right, you get right to the negative ones. And same with the departments. You can filter for departments. Okay, so that's great. So that's my internal view, kind of optimized. And by the way, maybe one thing I can show you. We have this full screen option. Now, if you actually want to put this on like a big screen in your customer care center, you can, with this full screen mode. And it all actually has an automatic refresh. So if someone actually puts in a feedback now, and you know what, maybe I should do that with the QR code that I created earlier, right? So what you can't see now, but I'm pulling up the QR code on my other screen, and I'm using my smartphone to just scan the QR code, and yep, it shows me, it takes me to the public feedback form that we created, right? You can maybe see it here. And let me see. I need technical help. I'm just gonna press the next button. And you see, I didn't touch anything on the app side. But it did refresh right here. So this is how it'll pop up on the screen, and you can have your big TV dashboard if you want to build something like this. Yeah. All right. Where was I? Okay, I wanted to look into the department categorization, right? It's actually pretty similar to the sentiment analysis. So I'm gonna go in here. I've already added the department analysis, so I guess now all that we need to do now is store this in here as well and see if that actually works. AI department analysis. Okay, so that should do the trick already. And now if we add, let's fill in another field. I think my last invoice was wrong. Send feedback. And let's go back to the feedback form. And you can see what the AI did is negative sentiment, department finance. Seems right. Next one. This is the best product I have I've ever used. It just works. Send feedback. And let's go back in here. What are you guys guessing in terms of department? I'm not even so sure. Maybe technical. I don't know. Let's see. It's okay, other, okay, whatever. So I mean, I guess this is a very rough AI implementation. You can obviously tune it, and you can tell the AI, okay, here are some examples, and you should put this into this category and this into this category, and then it actually gets better. If you really want to get into it, if you remember, I showed you this model that you can select in the AI node. This is just an untrained OpenAI model. What you can do is you can actually fine-tune a model with your own data, so you can give it a couple of hundred of example customer requests and tell the AI, please categorize feedback like this as negative or neutral or whatever, and same for the departments. And this way you can train the model on how to react based on a couple of hundreds of examples, and then it will actually behave a lot closer to what you want. But this is just a rough start, and I mean, what is that, 30 minutes, and we kind of already have a nice little app going. And again, what I think where it really starts to get interesting is if you now actually do flow switching and job routing based on what the AI analyzed. So, now that we've got a feedback that's for technical service, well, other people should get notified then if this is feedback for finance, right? Makes sense. And also let's assume this is not customer feedback. This could be like a purchase order or like spare part requests or whatever it is. You can kind of filter that out and see how you can automate this in an organization. And I thought, I mean, this is a nice little example that just, given AI no code and AI technology, literally just took 30 minutes to build this. And I think it's already quite powerful. And obviously now if you drill in and if you do some filtering and say, okay, I want to see all the feedback for the finance department that was, I don't know, where sentiment was positive. Right. There's none. Okay, but let me see all that's positive and that's just negative, right? And you can build these filters and these views really quickly, and just having that, I think, could be really valuable. And obviously, no one, typing in any feedback into a database. It's like all fully digital, fully automated, right? So, yeah. So that's that. I don't know, chat, if you have any questions regarding this, please go ahead. I'm here to answer any questions. But if not, I guess we can try to build something with vision now, with photos, because I think that's going to be quite interesting too. And that's going to be a little bit more tricky. But let me just, I guess I'm just going to start with that. So what is the Vision API? So I can just, this is the one I'm talking about. So what it does allow you to do is it allows me to upload images and photos to OpenAI and then ask several questions about it. What I can do is I can upload one image and just have OpenAI describe what it sees in that image and describe the image, and that can already be helpful, kind of similar to the sentiment analysis. So someone sends us an image. Is this an image of a technical part? Is this whatever, right? I guess technically we could even use that to kind of filter out content that isn't relevant to our business. So that's what it's kind of useful for. But I can also, and that's interesting, upload multiple images. So what I can do is I can upload one image that's kind of like, this is how it should be or should look like, and then here's what it actually looks like, and does that deviate too much from each other? And that's going to be quite interesting, I think, when we get to quality controls and hygiene, and I did this stream about 5S, workplace organization and workplace quality system. I think this is what it's going to be useful for, and I actually have prepared something which I want to build and see how that works, where I can actually have my workplace and my tools laid out in a correct way, provide the AI with an image, a photo of what the correct way of the tool layout should be, and then actually mess up the tool layout, take a photo, and let's see what the AI thinks. Is this actually now a correctly laid up workplace or not? And if not, again, have a workflow where someone gets a task to clean up the workplace. So so let's build that. So we're going to create a new flow. AI vision analysis. That's what I'm just going to call it. Oops, I didn't mean to zoom in that big. Okay. What do we need? I think we need a UI first. Let's do workplace check. This is what I'm gonna call this. Let's give an alert. Please perform a workplace check. Make sure all tools are laid out as presented below. I guess something like this, right? And then I'm going to have an image label, an image, and this image is supposed to show what it should look like. And I actually prepared something. So give me a second, please. Is that the correct image? Yes. I actually drew on my desk for you guys. You can see these are like just 3 little cables I had lying around, but I drew a little pencil outline around it, how you would typically have it, like where tools are laid out in a workshop or something like this. And okay, so this is how it's supposed to look like. And now I'm gonna add a camera element. Take photo of current workplace, or like current setup, I guess. And that's a required field, right? So we want that picture. And now what I want to do is, after I've done that, I want to kind of compare those 2 images using AI and see, well, is that actually good or not? So so this one, I'm gonna say finish. All right, so I think that's good enough for a UI. Let me publish that. And now I can go back to my flow. Workplace check UI. So fill in the workplace UI, and now it gets a little bit interesting, because the way the Vision API works, and I've actually looked into this before, is we need to upload images in a format called base64. That's technically it's an encoding that can encode bytes and binary data like photos into text formats, and then we can send that. It's technical, but luckily we have a function in the platform that allows us to do exactly that, right? And that's why I need a web function right here. So I'm gonna call this encode picture to base 64, and so that's my step. And then we'll need another OpenAI and have OpenAI compare pictures. And yeah, I think that's fine now. I guess again, obviously you want to do something after, like with the results, but just for playing around, I think that's fine. Now, encode. Okay, so let me first. Okay, I have the draft saved. That's enough. But I do want to have a system integration now in a web service, and Mobile2b web functions. That's what I need to put in here. And again, this is a fairly special use case here. Typically, I mean, something like base 64 encoding is very special interest, or like special scenario. I don't think you really need it all that often, which is why you probably also don't need to worry about all these web functions and integrations that I'm doing here. But yeah, for this example, I'm gonna need it. So I'm gonna put in well, I'm actually not quite sure if I picked the right one here. I have to play around with this a little bit. I'm gonna need an API key, but now an API key from our service. So web function integration. Okay, and now I'm gonna copy that key, and I'm gonna go back in here, and when I'm calling my categorization, I can actually make sure that I'll be calling the correct web service. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna have to check real quick. Let me see if there's something. Yeah. Okay. So if you click on the documentation, you can see a list of built-in web functions, and you can read everything about the API integration. Everything that I just did is right here. But I think the base 64 is rather new, so that's not in the documentation yet. We'll update that. Right after the stream, but for now, I'm gonna have to give me a second. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, I used the wrong function. It's called file encoder. And then you can see actually it already gives me the actual description. And now what I can do is I can take the photo from the UI and put that into my file input here, and now I'm getting the base 64 encoded file output as a string response back. So that's exactly what we want. Now, with OpenAI like this, we're gonna have to do it a little bit differently. So I cannot use the OpenAI node like this, because that is just compatible with these models. For Vision API, we actually do need something else, but that's not a problem. We can just, instead of using the OpenAI node, we can just use the HTTP node instead. Have the same outcome, but do it a little bit differently. So we're gonna add another web service integration right here, and OpenAI API. So this is going to be another OpenAI integration if you want, but this time it's based on on the API level. And if you go back to the documentation, you can actually see what the actual base URL is. Let me see if we can find this. Yeah, see, so this is the actual base URL that we want to have. This is the request. See, I'm just implementing this example with the no-code platform, right? So let me go back in here, and I'm going to use this host as my host for the OpenAI API, add integration. And now I can come back to my flow, to the vision analysis, and in here now I can use the OpenAI API and yeah, start working on this. Now let's see what we need. Here we go. So we want to upload this to, is it chat completions or? Yeah, I think so. So let's go back to the flow, and now we're calling chat completions, and we're going to post to chat completions. And yeah, we're going to need another header. So let's just take this example. Actually, let me get this over here. So I can see in the headers they have content type. I think we can close this for now. So we have a content type, and so it's expecting application JSON. Okay, so that's easy. And then I think for the authorization, we can just take the same API key that we created earlier, the OpenAI API key. So let me just go back in here. OpenAI, we can just copy paste this key and go back. And now I can actually go here and say bearer and then have that API key. So that should work. That should allow us to send stuff to OpenAI. Now let's go back. I need to close this tab. So this is the payload. Model, GPT vision, preview, messages, user, what's in this image. Okay, so what we can do is we can just copy this entire thing here, I guess, and post this in the JSON body. But now, instead of this URL, data, image, etc., now what we can do is we can just go in here and use our base64 encoded file input. This is what we needed, and put this right here. So we remove this and put this in here and click publish. Okay, well, I need to connect that to something, but that's fine, right? And you know what, just to see what the end result is, I'm just going to use a text resolver. That's always an easy trick to show OpenAI response, I guess, right? And then we can just take the variable from this one and just put it in here, and that should just give us a result. So I think we can give this a try. And again, this is just one image. I haven't done the compare images, but I just wanted to see at this point if the entire setup works. So get the UI, take an image, or upload an image, send that, encode it to base64, send that to OpenAI. And the prompt right now, I just took the prompt from the example, which is what's in this image. So I'm expecting OpenAI to just summarize the contents of the image. And then in the next step, we're going to provide it like 2 images and say compare. So let's do this. Or we can maybe, can we come up with some nice, yeah, something like this. Okay. Publish, and let me actually put this on the launchpad so we can kind of, okay, AI vision analysis, right? So that's a nice way to start this. All right, clicking on it. I get the UI, that's fine. Now let me actually think, what can I upload? Doesn't really matter right now. I mean, we just wanted to understand something. Well, you know what? I think I can actually get this to work with the. Let me stop this. Let me try to connect my smartphone actually and see if that makes things easier. So I'm trying to connect. Just a second, please. I think I need to. I want to share my iPhone screen so you can actually see what's going on. But I might need another second to set it up. Something's not quite working. I've tested this with QuickTime and try to get QuickTime to show the content of my smartphone. Let me see if I can set this up. So, okay. Now let's see if this works. All right, I think you should be able to see my smartphone screen now. Maybe you can give me a little feedback on that as well in the chat. Let me just resize this a little bit so you can see the entire screen. Okay, I think like this, right? Okay, can you see the iPhone screen? I hope you can. All right. Maybe someone from the team can give me a little bit of feedback if that's actually visible. So I will just open the Mobile2b app, and now I can try to. Well, I'm just going to go to Launchpad, and there's the vision analysis button, right? And okay, let's see what it can come up with if I just. Okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like, and now I'm actually going to take a photo. And yeah, for now I'm just going to take this one thing. Okay. Use photo. All right. And next. All right, now it's doing its thing, and we can already go back in here and go to the runs and see what's going on. As you can see on the iPhone, it's it completed now, but yeah, now I'm interested to see what happens. So the base64 encoding worked, the upload worked, 200, okay, that's kind of technical terms for the request worked. and then show OpenAI response. See, that's interesting. Again, this is technical response, which you would have to parse, but I can see this is the interesting bit here. The image shows an audio cable with a 3.5 millimeter male stereo plug on one end, often used to connect audio devices. So, which is actually a very accurate description of what this is. There's also yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome already, right? So it did kind of work. Like, I was able to take the photo, send it to OpenAI, and OpenAI analyzed it and at least put this in as a text. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Obviously, we could already use that, right? So we could already parse the text, and maybe let me show this to you too, because I mean, now it does get a little bit technical, but I think it's still worth showing you this. So what this HTTP node returns for us is a dictionary or a response dictionary or a response table. Now, in this case, I know from the API and from looking at it that we will get back a dictionary result and not a table result. Now, what I want to do to get a single value out of the dictionary, I would want to have I want to use the dictionary parser. So let me just pull up the parser node here, and we're going to call this parse analysis text from response dictionary, right? And we're going to switch this to dictionary, and now I'm going to go into pick the response dictionary. And now if I look very closely again at how the response looked like, and again, this is something that's unusually technical for what we would typically need, but yeah, just to show you that it can be done. So create usage, I can see it starts with the choices, and then that's an array, and then I have contents, I think. Yeah, so, and again, this is documented. If you want to take a look at this, go to the Mobile2b documentation. It'll show you with some examples on how parsing dictionaries and tables work. So you can dive into that. So in this case, I'm saying I want to parse a analysis text variable, and I know this is at choices dot item at index 0 dot content. That's what I just saw in the response, and now I can actually use that result. Hold on, I need to connect this first, like this. Okay, and okay, and now I need to get the variable parse analysis text. Here's my analysis text, and now I can use that in the I can use that in here. So that should make it a lot cleaner for you to just we can use that analysis text now without all this other technical noise around it. Okay, so, and I guess we can try this too. Let me just see what else we got. I've got this. This is like a barcode scanner thing. Let's see if it can actually identify this. So go back to the app. Let's go to Launchpad. Let's take another picture. No. Take photo like this. Yeah. Oh, I'd be interesting to see if it can actually recognize that. That's interesting. Let's see. All right, next. I mean, it does take a few seconds now because the picture is rather big and uncompressed. So technically you would want to do that, but I can see, I think something wasn't set up correctly. Yeah, so I did. Okay. I guess I did something wrong here. But okay, let me just take another look at the other examples. So what exactly? So should be choices. You know what? I'm actually going to. Let me just go to this JSON compare page. It makes it a little bit easier to. Okay, it's not proper JSON. Okay. Oh, it's choices message content. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it needs to be. So let's go back to the flow. I think it needs to be choices.0.message.content. I think that's what it needs to be. Okay, let's give it another try. Fortunately, it doesn't take long to fix this, right? So take photo. Okay. Next. Okay. And then we're already going to go over to the run. So it's running, it's running, it's running. So no error. That's good. And yeah. See? Now I only get the text, which is what we want. This is a photograph of a handheld barcode scanner typically used for scanning barcode. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, maybe it isn't, but I mean, this is like a very, I don't know if you could have guessed that just by looking at it from the side, but I guess OpenAI didn't have a problem recognizing that object. So that's good. And again, let's just think about what we can do with that. I mean, obviously, I mean, yeah, just imagine having a little camera app that you provide your employees with, and they just go around. Maybe if they find something that they feel maybe is off in the production line, or that looks a little bit weird, you know, just have them take a picture, run it through some maybe AI, and have some sort of a pre-analysis, or again, similar to the customer feedback. Now route the information to the correct person and say, okay, maybe now this is something for the technical staff to look at, or maybe this is something for, I don't know, quality control to look at, etc. Okay, now, so I think that's already quite cool. But now I want to actually do this comparison thing, because I think that's going to be awesome for anything related to like quality control, etc. Right? And the way we've set up this UI is we already have this please perform a check, right? Now, I don't need to create a base 64 for this every time. So what I can actually do, and I've pulled up this website that actually allows us to create base 64 texts for images as well, but we don't have to do it every time we run a flow. We just do it once and then use that. So I need to get my the picture that we've already used in the flow in the UI. How do I upload? Oh, I need to go to encode, not decode. Okay. Okay, and then I can click or tap to select file. I want that. Okay. And so this is the file, and okay. Is that working now? Success. Click or tap here to download the encoded file. Is that okay? Let's see what I got here. Oh yeah, it's a text file, 700 kilobytes. 700 kilobytes, yeah. So it's not the smallest file, but it does make sense. I mean, it is an entire image worth of information, right? So okay, so I got that here. Now let's take a look at the OpenAI documentation again with multiple images. So okay, so you can see this example is actually quite good. What are in these images? Is there any difference in them, between them? So let's maybe do that first. So let's go back to the flow, and I'm gonna change the prompt a little bit, and here are two images of a tool layout at a workplace. The first one shows how it is supposed to look like, and the second one is a photo of the actual layout. Do these two pictures does the current situation match the example, or are there differences? Let's just try that, and then again, I guess now it's just type image, two images next to each other. So that should be rather easy. So we're just gonna copy, I guess, this whole thing. We can leave the second one because that's the way it is, and do a comma. Okay, and now I guess this whole bit needs to be changed. Now the question is, can I put 700 kilobytes worth of data in here? Let's try. So I'm gonna copy this thing and I guess paste it in here. It's saving. So let's hope for the best. I don't know. I haven't tried this. This is new. Okay, I'm gonna set up my cables here a little bit. But you know what? I'm gonna share. I'll put this up on my screen again so you can see. So what I did in preparation, you can see this image of how the tool layout is supposed to look like. And now here's kind of this is kind of the layout area. So I can kind of place them in here. Kind of try to get it nice, but maybe this one I'm just gonna put like this or something like this. Okay, and see, maybe I can just somehow messed up, right? Okay. And that's actually quite nice, right? I mean, obviously for us, it's easy to see that this is not how it's supposed to be, and hopefully the AI will recognize this as well. But that's a simple example. Maybe we can play around with that a little bit. So next. I've never tried this. I'm really excited to see what happens actually. This will probably take 1 or 2 seconds longer because yeah, it's just with uploading 2 images. Well, no errors. That's always a good sign. And show OpenAI response. Comparing the 2 images, I can observe a couple of differences in the layout of the cables. First, the position of the USB-C connector, that's actually this one, the middle one, on the right differs. In the first image, the USB-C cable connector is placed with the metallic part facing up. Well, hold on. Oh, you know what? No. Okay. Upwards, while in the second image it is placed with the metallic part facing downwards. The alignment of the cable is slightly different while both images strive to match the outline drawn on the surface. The cable on the right side and on the second image is not as closely aligned with the drawn outline. There. Okay. Let me see that again with the. I didn't even reckon. What? That's quite interesting. Oh yeah. Hold on. So, okay, this is the connector on the. It's. No, I think the orientation is the same. What did it mean with the metallic part? I don't understand. Let's take another look. Do you know what the position of the USB-C connector on the right differs? USB-C connector on the right. So this is the USB-C connector down here. So I guess this one is on the right. It's placed with the metallic part. Okay, so I guess what it meant is that this part is, you know, in the example image, the connector is, you know, really, you know, pointing downwards, whereas here it's upwards. Maybe not the correct word, but it's kind of, you know, slanted to the right. So actually, what we would want to do now, or what I would want to do, is not actually have it like give me all the details about all the differences. I just want to know, is this compliant or not, right? And just yes or no, true or false. So we can then, you know, give the user feedback like, okay, hey, this was set up correctly or not, right? So I'm gonna do that, so let me do my prompt a little bit differently. Here are 2 images of a tool layout at a workplace. The first image shows how it is supposed to look like, and the second image is a photo of the actual layout. Is the current situation aligned with the example? Answer with yes. I guess I need to do some yes or no. Okay. Okay. I mean, obviously, it's nice to get the full, behind the scene of what the AI is thinking and why it thinks it's different. But let me, actually, maybe we do want to have that information for the end user. Yeah. Again, I wanted to have the yes and no because we could technically. How do I do this? So I can get. I want to have a yes and a no, but I also want to have the reason. I guess I can. You know what? I think we're gonna have answer with a JSON object with key with a Boolean property compliance and a text property reasoning or reason. Okay. I think that is actually something we can use. We can actually use, and then now let me do another business model. I'm gonna call this tool check, and let me just add a timestamp. Time of tool check. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong elements. Okay, timestamp, and then I'm gonna use another status. Tool check passed or failed, right? And then I'm just gonna have a long text for the reason or the description or whatever, right? Yeah, I think that's gonna be nice. Okay, I think that's what we want. Okay, and now I'm gonna add this as a view as well. So we're gonna have our tool checks. Can have some nice icon here. Yeah, all right. Okay, so these are gonna be my tool checks, and now going back to the flow, I can now do several tool checks and then run them over and over again and see how the AI actually does it. And you know what? This one. We're gonna need this at a later point. For now, I just want to see the result again. See if, because I want to see if the OpenAI API actually returns what I wanted it to return. With this JSON object, then we can parse that, and then we can create a tool check object in the database for it. Store tool check in DB, right? And so now for the timestamp, that's just something where I think we can just use the current timestamp. And then, yeah, I don't think we can do that yet because I haven't parsed the information. So obviously the passed or failed, and then the description, that's actually something I want OpenAI to analyze for us. So let me just let me just run another one of those and see how that goes. Okay. Oh, sorry. Set the camera. So I need something to drink right now. I was gonna pour myself a Coke. All right. Okay, it's done. Let's see. So this is kind of what I got back, which is actually great. I'm just not sure how I can properly parse this, because I guess they did have to put this in these escape characters, because it's a JSON inside a JSON or something like this. But yeah, I just have to think about how I can get that information out of there. I mean, I guess I can just try to see what happens if I use my parser. So this is gonna be my sorry, what was it again? Compliant and description, or what did I, or reason, or reason? Okay, so this is gonna be my reason. Content dot reason, and I want to have another, which is a Boolean property. Okay, I don't think it's gonna work because of the escape characters in the OpenAI response, but let's see. I think the description, at least, we can put in here, and okay. Okay, wait a minute. And just another thing, this is a Boolean. Maybe let me just say this should be a string as well, instead of a Boolean, with the property results. with the text property results that can have value passed or failed. So passed. Okay, like I want to do this, and then this one we don't need after I'm done here. Then I'm gonna call this this is gonna be a text property too, and this is gonna be results. And then this one here, now I can actually set the tool check to the results property, hoping that no, hold on, parse analysis results, that's the one we want, and put that in here. Yep. Again, I don't really expect this to work yet, but again, let's be optimistic. Let's try it. Okay, so, and again, take a photo now of the setup. Obviously, it's missing the middle cable, so all right. All right, so something did not work as expected, to be honest, and it, yeah, and yeah, it's exactly how what I expected. It's it didn't have it didn't treat it as a dictionary, but as a string. So now let's think about how we can solve this. I mean, I guess the problem, like with the other API, you can really, it would just give you a straight, like a string back, right? Text, you know, in the earlier example with the sentiment analysis, etc. Here, we actually get we always get a certain JSON response back, which is always this one, right? And there's going to be choices, message, content, and this is what we can play around with. Now, I guess it doesn't have to be JSON. Maybe I can just tell it not to escape the JSON. I don't know if that's possible. I think that's not gonna work. What else? What other tools do I have to fix this? Let me see. Maybe another web function. Let's see the documentation. I mean, we have this string trimming function, removes control characters such as white spaces. It's not exactly what we need. We would need something that actually removes the escape characters, right? I don't think that's gonna work for us. I mean, it's not gonna be. I mean, I think in terms of showcasing what's possible, it's gonna be very similar to this one, right? Where now we have the tool checks in here, and it's gonna say it passed or failed, and then the description is whatever the AI returned back, right? Which is essentially, we can already see this in the in our run protocol, right? So it's just now a question of how do we get that into business objects, and then from there, maybe create tasks, etc. But that should be fairly simple task now. What do you think, guys? Should I just spend some more time trying to figure this out, or is this? Was that enough just as a showcase to see how it technically works, and what the AI component is? And now, I mean, I would definitely build this and finish this before we make this a template for everyone, right? So this should be ironed out. Let me just. But I want to figure this one out. I mean, I guess I could always do 2 calls, but that just sounds very inefficient to call the same method twice, or like to send the same data to OpenAI twice. Maybe I shouldn't. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a JSON object that I get back. It could be anything. Maybe just a comma separated or semicolon separated text. But then I'm not sure how I can parse that, to be honest. Do I have a web function for that? I'm just gonna, for now, you know what? I'm just gonna, because to actually complete this, I'm just gonna say passed or finished, passed or failed. That's what we want. And so then this one is gonna be just the result like this, and this one we're not gonna have, and then publish. And then we're gonna go back to this one, and we're not gonna have a description for now. So let's go back to the tool checks and delete the 2 tool checks that we already have. And now let's create a few examples to to see how that works. So I'm actually going to try to get a tool check to pass here. Maybe that's actually another interesting thing is if we can set up some sort of a sensitivity as to like how strict it actually is. Because I would say this one. Oh no, this is actually not compliant because the middle tool, I don't know if you can see this in the stream, is actually the wrong way around. So that should probably fail. Yeah, so see, that did just fail. Let's do another one. And this one, well, I want to make it pass actually. I hope this AI is not too strict here. I think that's. What do you guys think? Is that close enough? Like in real life, if you were to, that should be good enough, right? Next. Oh, come on. Let me try to give this a little bit of accuracy. I don't know, like again, this is me playing around with it. I don't know if that actually works, but here are two layouts. So what it looks like the layout. Is the current situation compliant with an example at a 85% level? Is the current situation at least 85% compliant with the example? Let's try that. Maybe we can, tune it down a little bit. See if that makes a difference. So let's go back to the tool checks and do another tool check. All right. I'm really trying to set this up nicely. Looks fine to me. Yeah. Okay. So we actually made it pass. That's nice. And let's do a negative example now as well. So 85%. So if I actually forget one tool altogether, that should not pass, right? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's pretty cool, and that does seem to work as expected. Again, I mean, I want to have the description now and the reasoning, like why. And I guess if it passed, like the reason doesn't matter all that much. But if it failed, it would be great to tell the user, well, sorry, this failed. Please rearrange it in that way, etc. Right? Because that would be the ultimate help. But I think this is also already a pretty good example of or just gives you a sense, I think, of what this technology could ultimately provide, right? Like if you have this library of example images of like workplace layouts, I mean, there's so many different areas where you could use this, right? And you can train this AI, or like give it examples, and then have your staff actually perform checks, perform quality controls, and compare that visually against how it's supposed to be like, and have the AI analyze it and kind of give feedback to the user. Obviously, that's going to be super helpful, right? And one of the things that I get, or I talk to quite a few business owners, and they always tell me that, you know, one of the big challenges for them at this day and age is, you know, finding skilled workers that, you know the business in a way where they can actually, you know, judge if something is set up correctly or not, and even then, you know, training people to get to that skill level is like a big challenge. And I think what AI, if it's implemented in a like fashion like this, can actually achieve is help people get to that proficiency, like skill level, a lot faster, because it's like an assistant that's always there with you, and that like can kind of help you say, okay, this is fine, this is not fine, this is according to spec, and it's according to the documentation or not, and it's obviously super efficient because it just works with the cloud and their smartphone, and you don't have to have someone like training you on every little detail. So yeah. I think just as a little recap, what we built today, we had this customer feedback form, right, which was quite easy to set up, and actually we also built made this a public form. So if I just open it or put this in a QR code, let anyone scan this. Actually, this is something I can show you too, now that you can see my screen, right? This is the QR code that we did earlier, right? So now if I just open my regular smartphone camera and hold this on top of the QR code, you can see, hold on, I didn't tap the button correctly. All right, there we go. Right, it'll actually take me to this feedback form, and now if I go back to my customer feedback here, wow, this is awesome, right? I can just put in the feedback like so, and in my dashboard I'll get another feedback. It does the sentiment analysis, AI based. It does a department categorization, AI based. And what you can do in the flow now is you can have some sort of a task router. So you can have a rule saying, if it's negative and if it's finance related, send a message to this person. If it's positive and it's technical service related, do this, right? And this is the kind of process automation and workflow automation that I think is going to help a lot in efficiency and getting the right information to the right people in as fast as possible. And obviously it's fully digital, from capturing the feedback and analyzing the feedback and then working with that. So that's the first example that we built. Just text-based AI analysis, right? And then the second one was the vision-based AI, where we can actually use photos, not just one photo, but actually multiple photos to compare them each other, and also perform some analysis on it, like, okay, does it match on an 85% level? And if it doesn't match, show the description. I'm just going to think of a solution on how we can actually get that description on why something failed in here, or maybe even better, actually present it to the end user so they can actually then redo the tools, check it again until it passed, right? So that's actually something you can build quite nicely in a loop, where you can just take a picture. Okay, if it passed, fine. If not, redo it with a instruction based on an instruction that the AI gave you take another picture until it actually passes. So I think that's also a very cool tool that I built. And I mean, these are just 2 examples. Obviously, AI can do so much these days, and I really encourage you, just go into OpenAI API if you want, and you can see there's text to speech, speech to text, there's image generation that we can do. So essentially all of these capabilities that the OpenAI API and other AI APIs for that matter, right? But I'm just taking OpenAI as an example. You can actually integrate those into a no-code solution like Mobile2b really easily, and then by putting the pieces together, create cool AI-driven apps in a matter of an hour or 2, like we did today. So yeah, I hope that was interesting and kind of inspiring too. Hopefully you want to go out and build your own AI-driven app now. Again, what I've built tonight here is going to be available to all of you as a template that you can use and build on or use as is. That's fine. And also, if there are any questions or anything, just use the comments. This video is going to be up also after the stream, so use the comment section. If you want to see more of that, we're doing live streams like this every Thursday at 5 p.m. European time. So you can actually see us or see me try to build different things. In the past we've built some checklist apps for quality control, but we have lots of other ideas lined up. And also, if you have something where you say, hey, that would be cool to see how this can be built with no code, let us know, and we'll do it. And yeah, hopefully get a nice community going. And yeah, thumbs up. I think that's always good for the YouTube algorithm, right? Like a subscribe and a like on the video, so more people can see what no code and AI can really do. So yeah, I don't see any other questions in the chat, so I think that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for joining. Had a great time, and I personally am always amazed on what AI can do. I mean, just playing around with the images, etc. That's pretty cool. And yeah, again, thanks so much, and I see you next week. Ciao.